Many, many times the inquiry we get has to do with a vehicle that's been paid off, a loan's been paid, but there's still a lien holder showing on the vehicle title. This happens 100, 200 times a day. We hear the same story where a client has purchased a vehicle many years ago. They had a car loan, they paid off all their payments, and then later they don't have their title, and there's still a lien on the title record. We'll get into how that happens, but this type of story even makes the news in some cases. This is out of North Carolina where a person did not have the ability to drive their car because they couldn't get a title because the lien holder did not clear the lien. No car title for more than a year, kept car parked for Triangle Travel and Nerve. This isn't out of North Carolina, but the car came from California. Let's take a look at what happened. Well, it starts out where she moved from North Carolina to California because she moved for a nursing job. The North Carolina DMV rep said that the title was forwarded to California. When she checked with California, they told her that they sent it to North Carolina. So they basically went back and forth. Look, this happens a lot with Department of Motor Vehicles. It's not that the employees are trying to mislead you or incompetent or inept. It's just that government agencies are very overworked, understaffed, under-budgeted. So a lot of times there's differences of procedures from one agency to another. So once you start going back and forth between different states, you can run into a lot of problems. In fact, the California DMV says it does not receive or send titling documents to DMVs in other states. It's up to the registered owner to do that. So she went back to North Carolina and they say, yeah, you're right. We sent it to California, but it was returned as unclaimed. So how does this happen? How do titles get messed up for paid off liens? Well, here's the mechanics of how a lien release is done. If you have a loan on your vehicle and you pay all your payments, you pay your last payment to the bank, and what they do is they take your vehicle title that they have in their drawer or their file cabinet, they stamp it paid, they sign it, and they mail it to you. What they don't do is clear the lien from the title record. And you might think, well, shouldn't that happen automatically? Well, not really, because the lender and the DMV or the titling authority are two different agencies. Your lender is not the person who issues the title. The Department of Motor Vehicles, or whatever the name of the agency in your state that issues titles, they're the ones who actually update title records. So the bank knows that you have zero balance on your loan. That's fine. But the DMV does not know that you paid off your loan until the bank tells them. The bank normally doesn't tell the DMV. They tell you. They sign the title, stamp it paid. Sometimes they'll give you a lien release document, a separate form that tells you your loan is paid. And you might think, ooh, that's great. My loan is paid. Not so fast. The DMV, who is holding your title record, does not know this event happened yet. The bank normally doesn't tell them. Here's why. Because in order to do that, you have to pay a fee, you have to file some forms, and you have to update the records. It's not an excessive amount of money, but it might take $30, $40, $50 to change the title. It also takes some labor to fill out the forms and file it with the DMV. Now, let me ask you this. Do you like dealing with the DMV? Do you know how long it takes to work with that bureaucracy? Well, imagine you're a bank and you have to do 1,000 of those a day. So instead of allocating extra resources and employees to do all this, they just stamp the title paid, sign it, mail it to you. Now, as long as you have that title in your hands, you're good. If you need to sell it, you're good. But what if you lose that title? What if it never gets to you? Now, you're in limbo because you know that the loan is paid. Bank knows the loan is paid. DMV does not know the loan is paid. So what we recommend doing is as soon as you get that lien release or that title, take it right down to your titling authority, change the title record to reflect there is no more loan on that vehicle. There's no more lien on that vehicle. That way, no matter what happens in the future, your title is clear. If you're in a position where, too late, you lost the title, you didn't get the paperwork from the bank, and now you're trying to sell your car, maybe move to another state, maybe you already moved to another state, and that state doesn't have your updated title record. Well, now you have a problem. Now you have to go back to that lien holder to get a new document showing that they say the loan is cleared, because the DMV is not going to take your word for it. Even though it might be 10 years old, That car, the loan might be 10 or 15 years old. The DMV is not allowed by law to remove a lien claim on a vehicle just based on the owner saying there's no more lien. Because if that was the case, then any owner who didn't want to pay their car loan could just call the DMV and say, hey, my loan is paid off, take it off my title record. So they can't do that. They have to leave it on there until they get a formal written document from the lien holder. And we're dealing with this every day, dozens of times per day. I have a case we're working on right now where a major auto manufacturer lien holder is having difficulty coming up with a lien release. And in fact, this case may have to go to court. May have to do a court-ordered title because there's a lot of errors on that lien record. There's probably even 2 liens on the vehicle. So, if you're watching this and you are in a position where you have a vehicle, maybe you have a loan, maybe you bought it from somebody with a loan, and you need to clear that lien, it's very important that you do it a certain way. Don't call up the bank or the lien holder to ask them to remove it because it won't get done. They might say they'll do it, but then they won't. Or they might just say, we can't do it, go to the website, whatever. They just want to get you out of their hair. The reason why is because banks don't have staff that is dedicated to removing liens from title records. They don't have staff for that. So what you have to do is you have to do it, most of the work for them. You fill out the forms, you prepare them, and mail it to them. Certified mail, registered mail, priority mail, something with tracking so that you know that they got it. Because there's an employee there that can at least sign something. There's probably not a staff at that bank that can fill out all the forms, find the right forms. First of all, every state has a different form, so they have to find it. So you might have to do some of the legwork so that it makes it easy for you. If you need more assistance on this, we have some videos that will give you instructions. But the most important thing to keep in mind is lien releases do not happen automatically when you pay your last payment. The bank doesn't clear it from the title records. In some states, on newer vehicles, there might be an electronic lien that gets cleared, but even that, a lot of times, we find there's errors. If you've moved to a different state, that throws it out of whack too. If you got a loan 1 year before you pay it off, you move to a different state, now both states have conflicting records. So you're going to run into problems. It's something that is very common. There's solutions for it. This video is not really the instructional part. Our other videos give you the instructions on how to do that. This is to tell you why it happens, how it happens, and the fact that it's not an uncommon thing that they're singling you out. This happens all the time.